Well, it seems that Donald Trump and Mike Pence have the war itch. It seems like they just can't seem to get rid of this itch, and they've got to scratch it. I mean, they're doing everything they can to have war. They're doing everything they can to provoke war. Donald Trump and Mike Pence are not trying to quell or trying to avoid going to war. They're doing everything they can to promote the idea that North Korea has gone too far or is going too far. I will tell you, listen, folks, I will tell you, North Korea has not done anything different. Nothing. They've done nothing different than they have in the past. They've done nothing different. See, Donald Trump has an ego, as we all know. And he's got to go and strut himself around, so to speak. He says that he is not for war and that he doesn't want to see things escalate, that they would like to have a peaceful, conclusion or a peaceful, in other words, they don't want to have a conflict. But everything they're doing is promoting conflict. And as bad as the dictator of North Korea is, he is not going to allow the United States to bully him. Just like Iran is not going to allow Donald Trump to bully them. Folks, make no mistake about it. We have a bully. Okay? A bully administration right now. That's what we have. And, we got behind George Bush Jr. when he wanted to, George W. Bush, when he wanted to go attack Iraq. I was right there with him. I was standing with him and I was cheering him on and didn't even realize what I was doing. It wasn't until it was all said and done that I realized, what in the world have I done? I just agreed for this administration. I just agreed for George W. Bush and his administration to drop bombs on innocent people, on little children and women, and now Bush was standing around making jokes about weapons of mass destruction. Now, folks, you have watched Donald Trump. He says one thing, but then he makes jokes about it later. It's doublespeak. It's hypocrisy. Now, there is no threat from North Korea that has been any threat in the past. There's nothing different, people. Nothing. Nothing has changed. Except for the fact that because Donald Trump and Mike Pence are scratching this itch, so to speak, it's irritating the one being scratched. But if you really understand it, there's really no itch. It's being made up, just like the war on terror. It's all a lie, people. Are you listening to me? It's all a lie. This is preemptive war. This is acts of war that we are doing, like what we just did in Iran. That was nothing more than an act of war. Now, because we're so arrogant, so proud in this country, we have to stand with our president and cheer him on. No, that's not the case. If our president is wrong, our president is wrong. It's that simple. We don't stand and agree And I'm ashamed to say I did that with George W. Bush. Before I realized what I was even doing, I was agreeing. They could have went in strategically, and they could have went in under darkness, and they could have used special operations and could have achieved the same goals. Same thing with Iran, folks. Same thing with what they just did in Afghanistan. This all could be done not with a show of power, not with the biggest bomb that we have in our arsenal. No. This could be done diplomatically, and if not, it could be done on the ground, boots on the ground, and it could be done undercover, guerrillas by night. Are you listening? This could be done, folks, a lot more strategically. I'm going to tell you right now that this administration is trying to show its power because we have no power. And so we're trying to show we have power. Well, look, when you have real power, you don't have to put on a show. If you have real power, you don't have to go around the world flexing your muscles. You know? It's like a guy, right, that goes to the gym and works out all the time. He wants everybody to know he's building his muscles, right? But then you've got this old man that doesn't have any muscle, but has self-control and has character. Now, I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, I would rather follow that man that's meek, wise, with no muscles, than to follow the man that's got all this muscle and putting on a show, but he has no brains. He has no wisdom. Are you listening, people? Donald Trump is that big, muscular man, not physically. We all know he's not big and muscular physically, but I'm saying in this illustration, Donald Trump's that big muscular man that's trying to show off his muscles. Are you listening? And Mike Pence is pretty much worshiping Donald Trump. He pretty much worships Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump chose him. I'm not going along with this, people. I'm not going along with the idea that North Korea is a threat to the United States or a threat to anybody for that matter. It's bluffing. That's all it is. North Korea has been bluffing for years and years and decades, and they always bluff. They're bluffing. They bluff. That's what they do. Because like the United States, not in the same capacity, but North Korea doesn't have any power either. So they got to flex their muscles. But isn't it interesting that those that have real power and have real integrity and have real character and have a real control, or not control, but a real government, don't have to go around the world flexing their muscles? You ever notice that? There are countries on this earth right now that are so quiet. You never hear about them in the news. Why? How come you never hear about them in the news? Why aren't they out there strutting their muscles around? Strutting their stuff? Because they don't need to. Because they choose to be at peace with themselves and the world around them. But the United States has always got this itch, like they got to be involved in the affairs of the world around them. Now you tell me, who made the United States of America the police of the world? Who did that? Do you know anybody that did that? Did God leave the United States of America on the earth as the police of the world? No, he didn't. He left the United States on this planet because he could have wiped us out a long time ago. He left us here as an example to the other nations. And it was supposed to be an example of living godly. But now we're becoming an example when a nation turns its back on God. The same way God used Israel as an example to the nations, God is using the United States as an example. This is what happens when you turn your back upon the Creator. Oh, yeah. You end up with a celebrity in the White House. You end up with a puppet in the White House. That's not to diminish or take away from how bad the administrations before Donald Trump were. It seems like it just gets worse and worse and worse. You really think that Donald Trump is a reprieve, people? Yeah, I agree. Obama opened the door and let Muslims into our country. There's no question about that. Yes, we all agree that billions of dollars was given to the enemy. We know that. And I know what happened at Benghazi. And I know what happened with our military to some degree. But nothing comparing to what's coming. Nothing comparing to the war that's getting ready to break out, people. And it won't be surprising to me because morale is so down, because the numbers are down in the military right now. It would not surprise me a bit if Donald Trump has to reenact the draft. People, look, soldiers don't want to be in the military anymore. Men don't want to be in the military anymore. Not when they find out that they're over there fighting a cause that doesn't exist. Not when they find out that their commander-in-chief is making jokes about weapons of mass destruction. Not when they find out and they realize that their commander-in-chief was a Muslim. I'm going to tell you right now, Donald Trump may act like he cares about the military, may act like he cares about the soldiers. It's all talk, people. He does not care about anybody. Nobody. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. That's all he cares about. And how his image looks. That's what Donald Trump's all about, his image. He's all about himself. You know, folks, the reason why Donald Trump ran for president, and he didn't expect to win anyway, but the reason he ran, he just wanted to add it to his bucket list, people. He was going to go back to his company. He had no intentions of becoming president until he realized he might have a chance at it. Then he started fighting for it. But he had no intentions of being president. He thought to himself, well, I've done everything else under the sun. I've tried everything. Might as well run for president. Add it to my bucket list. And I really still believe that he was supposed to be a distraction for Hillary Clinton. I do. I believe that. I believe Donald Trump was trying to get Hillary elected. At first. But I've already told you that Donald Trump is a snake in the grass. I've already told you that. God told me that about Donald Trump. And the snake in the grass is not good. I thought about that the other day. I was driving down the road and I come up behind a vehicle, and on the bumper sticker it said, "Don't tread on me." And it showed a snake in the grass. And I thought about that. Jesus said he would give us power to tread upon serpents. And they're saying, don't tread on me. Are you listening, people? And they're not talking about just their government or a rogue government or a shadow government. Don't tread on me. They don't want anybody to tread on them. They don't want any authority in their life. They don't want authority. Are you listening? This is a generation that rejects authority. This is a generation that rejects any authority in their lives. They don't want authority. They don't want to be told what to do. This is a generation that basically has gone berserk. All right? A generation that has lost its mind. So just understand that what's going on right now in North Korea is nothing more than Donald Trump trying to make himself look good, trying to take the attention off how low his popularity is right now. I don't agree with either side, people. You know that. I don't agree with the right or the left, and I think they're all puppets. I think they're all part of the same plan to bring in a new world order. But I just wanted you to know that about North Korea. I've been watching the news. I've been watching, and I have not seen North Korea do anything different than they have ever done in the past. They always launch missiles. They always do this. They've been doing this for some time now. Oh, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump says, no more. No more. Why don't you just let them do what they want to do and just let it blow over? No, we got to make a big deal out of it. We got to stir up the hornet's nest. That's what they're doing. They're trying to stir up a hornet's nest because they want to go to war with North Korea so that they can add that to their accomplishments. I'm going to tell you again, people, North Korea is not a threat, really, to anybody. Not even South Korea, because South Korea would annihilate North Korea with the help of other countries. North Korea is he's an idiot, really. And he, in my opinion, he's a psychopath. But he was raised to be a psychopath. He watched as he was growing up how the people treated his dad and his grandfather like they were God. And he wanted that power. Not only that, it was left to him. Why do you think, what would be the reason why, what happened to his brother? North Korea, what happened to his brother? They're saying now in the news, and I don't know how true it is, but they're trying to say that he killed his own brother. We don't know that. There's no proof. But that's the story. That's what's going out over the airways. That's what's being fed to the people. Why? Because they want us to see North Korea in the way they want us to see them so that they have a reason to go to war with North Korea. It's the same thing that happened in Iraq, people. It's happening again. This time, you know how they say that? You fooled me once, shame on me. But you're not going to fool me twice. Not going to fool me twice. I'm not going along with the idea of preemptive war because of an ego. You remember what happened after Iraq? George W. Bush, he stood on the aircraft carrier after flying in like he's some kind of hero on a jet and saying, mission accomplished? Mission accomplished? What was the mission that was accomplished? Saddam Hussein worked for the CIA, worked for our government, worked with our government. So didn't Bin Laden. They both did. Just because the Pentagon's in the United States doesn't mean it's just the United States. The Pentagon is, the military-industrial complex that's all over the world, dug in everywhere. So I'm sharing this with you, folks, so that you won't be on board with this idea that North Korea is a threat, because they're not a threat. And as far as Iran, what What have they done different? I mean, who is not going to rise up against, when one country rises up against another country, who's not going to rise up? Who's not going to show a force of power? Who's not going to, what do you want them to do? Just lay down and take it? No, they're not going to just lay down and take it. So keep your eyes on what's going on, because I guarantee you we will go to war with North Korea. It's an inevitable. I guarantee we do it, people. But all along the way, you will hear Donald Trump saying these words. We don't want to do this. This is not really what we want to do. We want to resolve this peacefully. We want to do this with sanctions. We want to do this in a way that is economical. We want to do this where we cripple them economically. We don't want to go to war with them. Then what's that sound, Mr. Trump? What's that sound, that beating that I hear? What is that sound I hear, sir? That's the drums of war, sir. With that, I digress. God bless you.